Hello, this is Joe83, and this is my F1 2019 driver lineup prediction video. And it's that time of year again. Silly season is in full swing at the German Grand Prix in the paddock. There was a lot of this talk going on about driver contracts and such. So I'm going to make my predictions of who's going to be driving where for the next season in Formula 1. And I'm going to go through the teams in order of constructors' position at the time of recording this video. So start off with Mercedes, and that is already confirmed. This weekend they just extended the contracts of both Hamilton and Bottas, so they're going to be staying there for 2019. And Hamilton's there for 2020 as well, but not Bottas, so that could be a seat up for grabs at the end of next season, but that's a long time away yet. So the next team then obviously is Ferrari, and I'm going to go for a bold one, well, a little bit of a bold one, and say Vettel and Leclerc in that team. Vettel is confirmed, of course, for 2020, up to the 2020 season, and Leclerc has had a lot of rumours around him this season. He's been doing an excellent job in that Sauber, which is better than I think most people are making out. It's not like an awful car anymore, but he's still doing a good job to be in the points more often than not lately. And Raikkonen, I personally thought that in Germany, on the team radio, when he was told to let Vettel pass, that he sounded like he's just given up. So I think it is the end of the road for Raikkonen's F1 career, which is a shame, but it's been coming for a few years now. Since he left Lotus, really, he's not been at his best. So this will be, Raikkonen's going to retire at the end of this year, and Leclerc to take that seat, in my opinion. And Red Bull then, that is also confirmed, or pretty much. Verstappen is confirmed, and Ricciardo is heavily linked with extending his contract, because there's no better options. Like people have said about Renault or McLaren, but neither of them are good options really compared to staying at Red Bull, I think. But he's got a risk of being made into a number two if Verstappen, if the team is good enough to become a title challenger. I reckon Verstappen will lead the charge, but it is the best lineup on the grid in my opinion, and will be for next season as well. So on to the fourth place team then, which is Renault at the minute. And Hülkenberg, I think, is confirmed. He might not have a contract, but he's done a very good job. He's probably, I would put him in the top 6 drivers on the grid, but that's just because I like him. So pretty biased there. But then I'm going to also put Ocon next to him, because that was pretty rumoured. The Mercedes door at Germany was closed with the two drivers extending their contract, and the Renault is far more competitive than the Force India. So it's a good deal for both parties. Renault get a good driver in Ocon, and Ocon gets a better seat than the Force India seat, which he might be forced out of anyway because of what I'll come on to in a few minutes. So yeah, Renault could well be the third fastest team on the grid next season as well, in my opinion, because of the simpler aero regulations means that Red Bull might not have such an advantage in that department. And it also means that they've got Honda engines, of course, so Renault will probably have the advantage there as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if Renault actually jumped Red Bull for the third place in the Constructors, which I would love as a Hülkenberg fan, but we'll have to wait and see, so hopefully that'll happen. But Hülkenberg and Ocon is my prediction for the two Renault drivers. And Haas, I have gone for them to both retain their two drivers for the third season in a row, of Kevin Magnussen and Romain Grosjean. It's a very good seat. They've improved a lot this season, mainly because of the support, let's put it, from Ferrari that they get. I don't like Haas that much at all, just because of the way that they've charged up the grid because of Ferrari pretty much. But Grosjean, there's been rumours of him getting kicked out, but I think he's done a decent job, and I think he'll have a good second half of the season and be able to stay. I think on his day he's better than Magnussen, because Magnussen isn't that good, he's just consistent. But he has done well this season, to be fair to him. But Grosjean on his day, when he doesn't crash, is probably the better driver out of those two. So he deserves a couple more, well, one more year at the very least, because he has had a poor start to the season by his own admission. And whether it's down to luck or mistakes, he'll bounce back in the second half, I'm sure, and retain that seat with Magnussen in the Haas car for next season. And then McLaren, I've actually gone for Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso. Sainz has said that he wants a 2-year contract, which I don't see him really getting at Renault, because he's obviously only on loan this season, but I think his contract with Red Bull runs out at the end of this year, so he would be a free agent. But he said he wants a 2-year contract, which I don't see Renault giving him, because of Jack Aitken and Artem Markelov, who could well be GP2 or F2, championship contenders for 2019, so they want to get them in the F1 seat if they can. So I don't see Sainz getting a 2-year contract at Renault, so he's going to... Well, my prediction is that he's going to go to McLaren, because Alonso was Sainz's idol as a child. We saw the pictures of him, like when he was about 10, Alonso was already in F1, with pictures with them, obviously, and they're both Spanish, so a bit of connection there. And McLaren, Van Dorn has been pretty terrible this season, to be honest, so I don't see him staying on. And Alonso's been happier lately, and I reckon they were just about convince him to stay for one more year, which a lot of people would think Alonso is going to leave at the end of this year, but I can see him staying on for once more. and definitely he's going to try the Indy 500 this next year too for the Triple Crown, but that'll just be someone like Van Dorn or something like that coming back into the car to replace him that weekend. But I do see him trying to do the full season again. His love for the sport isn't gone yet, and I'm sure he can still do a good job, as we've seen this season for McLaren, getting the most out of the car as he can. And Alonso and Sainz would be a pretty exciting lineup. I'm sure most people would agree if that does come true. So Force India then, who have recently been bought out by Lawrence Stroll, which is the reason why I've put Stroll in the car. Lance Stroll alongside Sergio Perez, who's going to be in his 5th season, I believe, since 2014. So a long time for Perez. And there's been rumours of Perez looking around at better options, but I don't see any better cars really available. If Haas keep their drivers, then I don't see Perez going anywhere really. So it's going to be Stroll and Perez. Lawrence Stroll bought a stake in the team, so Lance Stroll gives them a lot of money. There's been rumours of them going into administration as early as this week, so it's very bad times really for the finances of Force India. So getting Stroll in the car, while I might not be the most competitive lineup, he is a good source of money, to be honest, and he's a decent driver as well. We saw that last year when he had competitive Williams. He was okay most of the time, well, some of the time. So yeah, for Stroll and Perez, not the best lineup, but it's what I've gone for the prediction of Force India. And then Toro Rosso, I've gone for Pierre Gasly to be retained. I think everyone agrees with that. He's been pretty decent this year. He's done well to say how uncompetitive the car is. And Lando Norris alongside him, because there was rumours as in Canada that Norris was going to go there on loan to replace Hartley. I don't see Hartley staying next season. He hasn't done well enough so far. He did well in Germany, but then apart from that, there hasn't been that many good performances so far from him. And the Norris and Toro Rosso could be part of the deal to get Carlos Sainz to McLaren. Obviously, Sainz is part of the Red Bull family. Like, Norris going to Toro Rosso helps out the Red Bull family by getting a better driver in their second team. And it could also be part of the James Key deal, which went through today, where McLaren have just sort of like signed him without really agreeing anything with Toro Rosso. So that could be a little link to get Norris in that car as well, but that's just pretty speculative, to be honest. So Gasly and Norris, that is a fairly young, obviously, but an experienced lineup, but Toro Rosso are used to that, and I think it'd be pretty decent for them. So on to the next team then, which is Sauber, and as I've said, Leclerc going to Ferrari means that they would have a vacant seat, and that seat is actually quite attractive now. Like a couple of years ago, it'd basically just be a pay driver, like we saw with Nasser and Ericsson. Basically would just bring the money in, and it was a terrible car to just be at the back of the grid. But now that Sauber has made a lot of progress, it's edging on the points most weeks now, and I've gone with them to retain Marcus Ericsson for I think what would be his 4th season since 2015. And replace Leclerc with the other Ferrari young driver, Giovinazzi, and that's a pretty safe bet. I reckon Ericsson has done pretty good this season, to be fair. Scored points on a few occasions, and he's been better than I think most people expect. He has been shown up a bit by Leclerc, but Leclerc is very good, so he's done decent, I think, Ericsson. He's not as bad as people make out. And Giovinazzi next to him, he's the Ferrari 3rd driver at the minute, so it pretty much makes a lot of sense for him to go to Sauber if they're seat free. And yeah, that's my prediction. Giovinazzi and Ericsson, fairly exciting lineup. I think Ericsson is a decent midfield driver if he got a car for it. So yeah, Giovinazzi and Ericsson should be a good lineup to watch. And then the last team is Williams, and I've actually gone for them to retain Sergei Sirotkin, and there's a spare seat available after my prediction of Stroll to Force India. So I'm going to fill that with George Russell. Because a lot of people have been linking Kubica, but I think that if Stroll goes to Force India, it's been rumoured, or it's been like speculated that he'll take Kubica with him because he actually likes Robert Kubica an awful lot and wants him to like mentor him, and wherever he goes, Kubica will go with him. So Kubica to go to Force India as like mentor, 3rd driver sort of thing, and they'll replace George Russell goes in as the Mercedes young driver. And Sirotkin has done all right enough, really. In Germany, he could have got a point, but unfortunately for him, the car broke down. It's not been a good year at all for Williams. Only got 4 points so far, but Sirotkin hasn't scored any of them, but I reckon I've been pretty impressed with him. He's done okay compared to Stroll. So Sirotkin to stay and Russell to replace Stroll in that Williams car, which probably will still be the worst car on the grid unless another big team drops back, like Toro Rosso maybe or something. I don't know, but that is my completed lineup for the F1 2019 season. There'll be 3 new drivers of Russell, Giovinazzi and Norris in the bottom 3 teams respectively, and that would mean that Van Dorn would get kicked out. Maybe he stays in McLaren like as a 3rd driver, but I doubt he's done enough to stay in that F1 seat really, and Kimi Räikkönen to retire, and Brandon Hartley was only really ever a replacement in F1, so not of a surprise that I'm predicting him to go as well. So that is my predictions. I hope you did enjoy. If you didn't, leave a like, comment what you think on my predictions, and comment your own predictions in the comment section below. Hope you did enjoy. It's been J083, and I will see you next time.